Jim comes from a small town in northern Arizona, which is sandwiched between the Paiute Reservation to the north and the Navajo's largest reservation to the south. And the high school that he went to was so small, it was a 1A division high school that graduated like 80 students a year. So consequently, the sports teams always had to travel like 5 to 10 hours to go compete with other high schools. And usually they would get on their bus, go to the game, play, and then stay in a hotel overnight and head back home the next morning. But on this particular trip, the coaches told them that the school couldn't afford to pay for the hotel for all of the players. So they were going to have to go play and come back all in one trip. So they're going to be on the road for like 12 hours total. So the team gets on the team bus, head to their game, play their game, and start to head back home. They were on the bus for about 2 hours when they crossed onto the reservation. And at this point, it was about 2 a.m. So pretty much everybody is sleeping except him. And Jim says he noticed that not long after they crossed the border onto that reservation, the bus driver, who usually went just the speed limit, had that bus going probably about 80 miles an hour. But Jim was thinking, oh, well, that just means that we'll get home that much faster. And as he's looking out the window at the desolate desert landscape, which is kind of lit up by the moon, he sees this figure that's on a pursuit course with the bus and keeping pace with it at about 80 miles an hour. And as it gets a little closer, he could see it's kind of a humanoid figure. And as a matter of fact, it looked like a human, except it had half of its face painted black, half of its face painted white, and glowing red eyes. He said the eyes looked like rabbit's eyes that reflect the light of a spotlight. And he thought to himself, holy crap, it's a skinwalker. And he watched as this skinwalker came up and was keeping pace with the bus. And as Jim is staring at it, this thing is actually hurtling sagebrushes and rocks at the bus. And then this thing makes eye contact with him. And Jim says all of a sudden he could not look away. He said he felt as if something was holding his head in place so that he couldn't look anywhere else. And the skinwalker just smiled at him with a smile that went from ear to ear, showing these big yellow pointed teeth. And Jim says he was just panicking and he just felt like he wanted to throw up. And then, as he's still watching, he sees the skinwalker crumple down and start running on all fours instead. He started to see the creature's bones crack and reform, and hair started sprouting out all over. And within the span of about 3 seconds, it was now a coyote and it ran off into the distance. And Jim says as soon as that thing was gone, he got up, went to the bathroom in the bus, and threw up. Now, he didn't really want to tell anybody about what happened because he thought everybody would think he was crazy. But he did tell a friend of his who also happened to be a Navajo. And she said, you need to see the chief and get a blessing. Now, it also happened to be that the chief was a friend of his. And the next morning, he met with the chief in the high school parking lot who recited a Navajo prayer over him. And Jim has not seen a skinwalker since then. Now, he says part of that could be due to the fact that he has since moved north. But he says if he ever does have to drive south, he goes around the reservation. Way around.